Right, Jam. So today we're doing a client spotlight interview with one of our clients at CreatorLaunch, a guy called Ben Alistair, who has been a client of ours for nearly 4 to 5 months now. And Ben's a super cool guy. I would highly recommend you go follow him on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, everywhere. He's got over 1 million followers now. And I genuinely think he's about to blow up on YouTube specifically. He's about to double his content output, which is super sick. But anyway, we did an interview with him because we have seen some pretty epic results with him over the past few months. So we managed to triple his monthly revenue within the first 3 weeks of working with him. This is from relaunching his website, getting his offer nailed down, making sure his value ladder made sense to his audience and his potential customers, and giving people an opportunity to actually work with him at various different levels, independent of their budget. So I had a really good call with him. He's been very, very happy with how things have gone, and really looking to take things to the next level with him on the route to 100K per month. That's where we want to get to. So hope you enjoy this interview, and make sure to leave a comment if you think it was interesting, and if you think Ben is a cool looking dude. I think he looks like Tom Hardy. Some other people think he does as well. But yeah, looking forward to keeping on working with him.
I've been on social media now for 3 years, and I started off during COVID, like a lot of people have done. I basically started selling on Amazon a few years behind that. I left my 9 to 5 and I decided that, hey, a lot of people are struggling during these hard times during COVID, when a lot of furlough checks are coming out, a lot of people are getting redundant. And I thought, why don't I show my expertise and what I've learned around selling online to the world? And I didn't think much of it, to be completely honest. I started off with literally just videos, opened up my laptop, turned on the webcam, and started speaking about how to sell on Amazon FBA in 2020. And then 3 years later is where we met, effectively. And this is kind of still, teaching about selling on Amazon, but now we are now moving into other areas, such as different types of side hustles, how to make money online in general, because I think a lot more people now these days are not as secure in their job as they used to be 5, 10, 15 years ago, with AI coming in, with so many things happening remote. So many things are now even being outsourced to different countries. So people are a little bit more panicky, and they want to, look at ways to secure their financial future and going forward.
Nice, man. So yeah, I mean, ultimately you are one of those rare people that have gone through the process of escaping your 9 to 5 to building your own business. And I think important just to explain to people that social media is it's not everything that you do. You're not just a content creator. You are a businessman that has built your own Amazon FBA empire. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but as far as I'm aware, like 5 million in total revenue-ish, like over the last few years, and you've gone through the process of escaping your 9 to 5, creating your job, and now you're helping people also get on that path and get on that journey, and coaching them through the process that has got you to where you're at now. So like, I kind of just want to ask you a few questions about, really us working together a few months ago. And I think when we first started working together, I have a feeling it came out of the blue for you. And I don't think it was really on your radar, like that something like this existed, like, or working with, you're a coach, so you very much understand the value of coaching people. But like, had you considered working with someone in the way that we've worked together?
I'll be honest, because I am full-time on social media and I'm full-time on Amazon FBA at the same time, i.e. what you just said, I'm doing what I teach as opposed to just teaching, speaking about it and not doing it at all. I have very little amount of, I have the resources in terms of money, but I don't have much time to educate myself on anything else outside of those two realms. So I knew that I have to find someone to help me to monetize the platform, make it bigger, give me a vision going forward. However, I just didn't have the necessary time and the focus to do so. So it was kind of like I knew I was missing the boat, but unfortunately it was kind of like, okay, I have to give up either social media or Amazon for the short period of time to find somebody such as yourself. And I wasn't prepared to do so, because those things were paying the bills, whereas bringing on somebody, interviewing them, going through CVs and so on and so forth will take a very, very long time, and then potentially training them up, figuring out whether or not they're actually good at the job and so on and so forth. So I thought, you know what, let me just continue creating content, and if it's meant to be in the stars, that right person will come, and here you are. But you know what I mean.
Of course, man. And like, so one of the things that I think was surprising to you was really the process that we went through to uncover where we found there to be gaps in your business. And like you said, like you are a businessman because you run your own business. You social media, content, buying, selling products, coaching people. But we managed to uncover quite a few gaps in your business, which you just didn't have the time or the capacity to like fix out. Can you remember what were the main areas that we highlighted we thought there were gaps in?
They're not just small gaps. They were the gigantic gaps, to be completely honest. And it really annoyed me because I have been doing mentorships, doing coaching for at least 3 years, and the results after you guys came in and made the changes, it made me happy, but at the same time it got me really annoyed because I'm thinking, how much money, how much capital did I leave on the table for the last 2 years having not had your expertise? But in terms of the gaps, like I said, it's kind of like a video editor trying to do a Photoshop for a picture. You do have some skills of coaching, some skills of selling, but you're not an expert in that field. And when you guys came along and brought in a new set of skills, such as the AI side of things, such as the Discord, such as the email marketing, which I didn't even believe much, to be completely honest, changing up the website completely, because before that, I was under the impression that the website has to look nice, it has to be simple, and it has to be very straightforward, which I had the right idea. But in the very beginning, I had way too many options, with different coaching sessions, different amounts of time, period, money, all that sort of thing. And the last thing you need to do is get your potential customer, your potential student confused at your offering. It should be as straightforward as possible. So when you guys came in, it was just like, right, we've got so many things that we need to cut it down to literally what works and double down on that, as opposed to having all of these different options for people that really don't even know what they need themselves. They just want to do whatever they can and leave their 9 to 5. So that's the first thing. The second thing that really stuck into my mind was the AI side of things, basically using AI to generate more email templates, more email marketing, and increase my, I spend so much time on video content and stuff, but there's nothing in terms of blogging, nothing in terms of email marketing, nothing in terms of the written word or anything like that at all. So I'll be honest, over the last 3 years, besides the coaching side of the business, it made me realize how much I am missing out even on the social media side of the business. Like until before we met together, I was only on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. I am now, based on my experience with you guys in regards to the coaching side of things, I am now on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Snapchat, Threads, Twitter, and I think there's one more, but I can't remember off the top of my head. So it just opens up your eyes. It's like, right, we need to get on this and get on this ASAP, because it is a long grind, and the sooner we start, the better. And like I said earlier, I wish I got in touch with you guys much earlier, because then we would be much further ahead. But at the same time, I'm happy that we got in touch in the first place.
Nice, man. Yeah, well, the way I look at it is that Ben would be considered a one-person business. Despite him having a small team around him, he is the central component of the business, which is really common. That's what most of us are. And you have to think of a one-person business as just a normal business, and that you're getting eyeballs you're taking eyeballs from social media, from marketing, from advertising, and you're trying to pull them down a funnel which gets them towards your offers and your products and your services. And we highlighted that Ben had a lot of traffic going to his website, because he had, at the time, lots and lots, and still growing and growing even faster now, but he was getting a lot of traffic from TikTok, from YouTube, from Instagram, but unfortunately the website just wasn't in a good enough position to really capture and tell the story of, okay, this is what Ben is, this is who he is, these are the services, and really in a simplistic way to get people to be like, I can work with Ben either in A, B, or C, which we now have. And like, can we talk a little bit about the ways people can work with you? Because we've really simplified it, right? Like if someone comes to your site, what are the offers?
Just on the website side of things, until we met, I was in the impression that it needs to be pretty, and that's not necessarily the case. What it needs to be is, it needs to paint a story. It needs to be as simple and straightforward as possible, and it needs to give enough information for people to make an educated, calculated, informed decision. So the things that you added, which I didn't believe in, stupidly thinking back now, what I'm thinking, what the hell was I thinking? But like the video testimonials, big game changer. The written reviews, big game changer. Student results, big game changer. And it makes total sense to me now. But until somebody came in and bashed me over the head and said, hey, you need to add these in, it just didn't click. I just thought, hey, you trust me, you know from my social media, here's my website, here's all of the services that I have. Pick one and let's have fun with it, right? But when you guys came in and you really narrowed it down to, I think at one time I really had like 12 options, and we now narrowed it down to 3. It makes the potential student's life a whole lot easier, because there is less. They're so confused, they're so worried, they're so stressed out about, the potential next step they're going to take. Now you have all these options that they can easily get overwhelmed and just click off completely.
Yeah, and just to go over for people, because this will be informative for some people as well. Like, we've made it so that people can work with you depending on, no matter what their budget is. And so we have like people that can work with you one-on-one, and that's now what we've done is we've increased the price of that to something that's like 5 times as much as you were previously charging people for. But what that's allowed you to do is, now we've launched recently a group coaching program, which now, instead of you doing one-on-one calls with people every week, however often you were doing them, soaking up a huge amount of time. I remember when you were in Dubai on holiday, and I remember having a quick chat with you, and you were so stressed because we had increased some sales of your mentorships when we started working together. So all of a sudden you've got more sales. We had like 3x the number of sales you were doing, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I've got to actually do this coaching now. So what we've done is we've now migrated you into this group coaching method where you're looking after a big group of people. And we'll talk about that in a second, but like we launched it for the first time the other day, and we had an amazing day because you ended up making more money in one single day than you did in August than you did in the entirety of August last year. Which double, exactly, double. So to make these moves, which talk to me about how making these moves makes you feel. I guess, like, do you feel confident this is like scalable now? Like, okay, I can grow this.
Yeah. I mean, you nailed it bang on, because when you guys came on, I was perfectly fine with the amount of workload that I had and more sales coming in. Great, it sounds great, but at the same time, 2-3x sales all of a sudden means 2-3x the amount of work to do as well. And any business owner or any content creator that's out there that takes this seriously realizes that even when you're on holiday, sorry to swear, shit has to get done. And in my case, it was like, right, instead of doing 4 calls or 5 calls a week, I now have to do 10-15 calls a week on the period that I'm supposed to be having time off. So it was just like, right, we both realized, and I think you knew it, but I had to realize the hard way. I'm a very slow learner. I had to learn it through pain and experience, as you can clearly tell, that this is not scalable, this is not sustainable. If I want to grow this 2x it, 3x it from where I am right now, I just physically, there's not enough time in the day for me to do it by myself. So we had to look at different options in terms of what's possible to be scaled up, and at the same time still provide value to people, still provide good quality service, maintain the reputation, because that's what's key for any sort of social media creator in the long term, and really go from there. But what I also liked is the fact that when we simplified the options that we now have one option for somebody that's on a very, very low budget but needs help, Okay, we have one option that is the main option for most people that are in the main category that's got a few $1,000 or pounds in order to start selling on Amazon. And then we have an option which is a private one-to-one for somebody that has got a lot of money and wants to take this extremely serious and wants to go all in, so to speak. Whereas before, all options were all over the place, which just confused people really. But now it's kind of like, yeah, just to kind of go back to your original question, yes, it made me believe, and now it helps me paint a picture where we should be. We now, I think, got the structure in place, so to speak, the right correct structure. We're in the right train track effectively, and now it's just about adding bits and pieces to 2x 3x before. Whereas before, I'm just using a visual here, I was on a completely bloody different train track and it was going off a cliff, whereas now it's a little bit better.
Does it feel, because obviously I love working with you, and this is one of the best things about our relationship is that I get to work with you every single week, and we get to really trial and test stuff and throw ideas around. But does it, for me, it feels like we're in like a really good, like controlled place where it's like we're not scrambling. We're not like, oh, we need to test this, we need to try this. Like, is the pricing right? It's like, no, we've got the foundation laid now. Yeah. Now we just need to start filling the people who have tickets, to get tickets onto the train. We're on the right train track.
Yeah, no, and absolutely. I think we've got a very good balance between having the foundation right, having like understanding exactly the level we're at, what we should be expecting, and the changes that we make right now that are subtle, whether or not they make a difference. And what I like is the fact that both me and you, number one, is like we like to take action as opposed to just speaking ideas out loud. Nothing ever gets done. We actually do implement those things quite quickly, quite rapidly. Just to quote this guy right here, for anybody that doesn't know. But secondly, what I was going to say is the fact that we're happy, but we're not satisfied, because there is we both know there is so much more to do and so much more to make over the next 2, 3, 5 years. I mean, I said it for myself personally, and I said it to you, I'm on social media until 2030. So I might as well get the most out of it as possible whilst I'm here.
Yeah. And, for me, it's really simple. Like I work with my clients in milestones, and our first milestone was we hit within a few weeks. We triple your revenue, got things going, like nearly 200% X your conversion rate on your website. And that was like, okay, we just made some small tweaks. That was the really quick low hanging fruit. But now we've set a foundation where we can be like, okay, I mean, for me, my milestone to work with you is getting you to that 100K per month mark, like consistently doing cohorts where you're getting that much. And not only that, getting really great client results, becoming, ultimately is actually, it's not about the money. It's about you becoming the most recognized guy and the most trusted guy, because I know that trust is like a massive part to how you want your brand to be represented, right?
Yeah. And besides that, it's just what I would say to anybody watching this: if you're serious about making money from social media, you want to do it the right way. And the only way to do it the right way is by actually hiring someone that can fully focus on that part of your business, which is exactly what you should be treating it as, a business. You're not just doing a video here and there. No, if you're serious about it, focus on what you need to do, which is create content, create compelling content, create trustworthy content on a consistent basis, and then let somebody like yourself take care of everything else. Because like I said earlier, when I try to do it all by myself, I've missed out on a lot of potential revenue. And I think people kind of feel like in the very beginning they have to do everything, which is fine, but there is very, very soon later you will reach that level where you have to give some of your baby away so it grows on its own much, much faster than you did with you beforehand. It took me so long to increase my revenue by just 20-30%, because the only thing I could do is increase the amount of traffic I was getting from social media, but the conversion rate stayed the same. But just by doubling the conversion rate, even if I'm not growing at all on social media, the revenue doubles. So you may have a shit ton of traffic coming in, but if your conversion rates suck, which in most cases for you guys right now watching this video who has their own website, I'll be honest, 99% of you will have a shitty conversion rate. If that conversion rate stays shitty forever, no matter how well you do on social media, it's not going to materialize as much as it could potentially.
Yeah. So the way we consider, I like to talk about it is like, it's you've got an option. You have a bucket with holes in it, and you can keep filling that bucket, but it doesn't matter how fast you fill that bucket, things are going to slip through. What we want to do is we want to highlight where the holes in the bucket are. We come in, we plug the holes, whether through tech, through marketing, through sales, through AI, all of those different tools. And then Ben and the people that we work with are confident that they can go super, super hard on what they are really great at, which we'll get onto finally, like the final thing I want to talk about, which is your content. Because I've looked at the data from your Instagram and your YouTube, and there is this kind of crazy correlation about when we started working together and when there is like literally just like I get like a takeoff, like a launch takeoff. And, you know, I take absolutely no credit for that. And my point is that I have a theory that by taking away the stuff that was soaking up your stress and kind of like frustration about just the runnings of the business, knowing you are losing out but not knowing where, you were able to redirect that energy into what you're amazing at.
No, absolutely. I think indirectly you do have a big part to play in it, because like I said, let's just give an example. When I was doing, let's say, 5 hours a week in terms of coaching, and then all of a sudden it goes up to 15 hours a week in coaching. Now, by changing the business model and by doing only 1 hour a week in coaching, that gives me, in terms of time, 14 extra hours to spend back onto social media, which means better quality in terms of the video edits, in terms of how I come across on camera, more content being pumped out as well. So by what you did is brought me back time, that time that I can use now on social media, which essentially grows everything, the top, which is the sales funnel, which is the amount of views that we get for our website and stuff like that. So it's like you had nothing to do with the social media side from a content creation part of it, but you allowed me and gave me more time to actually go back to it. And and it's made a big difference. Hence why now, instead of posting 15 pieces of content a week across 9 different platforms, I'm focusing on doing 29 pieces of content a week on 9 different platforms, like 2xing the amount of output I do, and hopefully with a good conversion rate, with everything stays the same, and hopefully maybe even improve, that should double our sales over the next however many months.
Nice.
So yeah, it's just this, what's very good about what we have is essentially it allowed me to focus on what I want to focus on, whilst you focus on what you do best, and kind of we know exactly our lanes, to the point now where I'm like, if you want to increase the price, just don't ask me, just increase the price. If you want to make this change on the website, just don't ask me, just make the change. I don't want to know. I don't want to be distracted. I just want to be focusing on social media, which is exactly the best thing to do. And I trust you completely to make the right decision for that bit part of the business. And that's it.
Yeah. Nice, man. And then really, to be honest, like the work that we've done over the past few months to really lay this like solid foundation, it now means that both you and I can confidently be like, okay, it's just about getting leads in now. It's about getting eyes in. And we just had Alex Hormozi's latest book launch, and I was listening to it today, and one of the chapters on, I think it was on like paid advertising, and he was talking about how it really is as simple as you double the amount of content you make, you double the amount of revenue you make. And like you've got someone like Ben, and the reason I say that is that for anyone here who is looking to really level up their content game, I genuinely believe this. I'd like Ben, across all of your platforms, you are an amazing example to go and to go and look at, because he is not just reposting stuff on different platforms. He is making platform specific content that is like ideated and created for the specific algorithms. Go and take a look and see how a professional does it. And it is, I think we're at the start of a very a very fun period for you where I think you're going to level up into a different direction. You got a new studio, which we're going to see for the first time in a YouTube video. What, next week? Do you reckon?
Yeah. Next week.
Nice.
Yeah. No, I think I mean, we could do a whole hour on social media and the importance of it effectively, but I think when it comes to that, a lot of people need to focus on improving the quality of the content over time while still making it efficiently as possible. Efficiency is very, very key, because otherwise, some people may relate to what I'm about to say. Your risk of burning out just increases over time because you're putting so much effort into the piece of content that you want to post. The reality is, you as a viewer or I as a viewer don't give a shit of how much effort you put into that piece of content. What we care about is whether or not it provides value. And if you have that in the back of your mind, that this piece of content that I just created provided value to my viewer, fine, post it. It's as simple as that. If it doesn't, don't even bother, because nobody cares how pretty it is. Nobody cares how much time you spent on it. They just care as, did that, what you just said in that 30-second, 60-second clip, did that help me in any way, form?
Dude, so let's wrap up with one actionable tip from a content perspective, because yeah, we are speaking to a guy who has over 1 million followers across all channels, is like blowing up across multiple channels. Like, if you could give a piece of advice to someone who is, they've been posting a lot of content, maybe they've been seeing some success, but like, what is like one actionable piece of advice that, like, on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis, what should they be focusing on?
I think that one of there's so many, but one thing is that if you have been posting for 6 months, you need to look back 2 months ago. Is your video better than it was 2 months ago? Is it better than 4 months ago? That's the first thing. When you're speaking to the camera, are you speaking just with your body language, or are you just speaking face, just what we're doing right now? You cannot see my body or anything like that, right? So you need to really focus on trying to improve the little things every single time, whether it's the thumbnail for YouTube, whether it's the hook for TikTok, whether it's the catchiness of the message for Twitter and so on, or Instagram potentially. Like, try and focus on those small little improvements is key. But I think the biggest difference for me before you guys came along, because I think you guys came along when I had about 500,000, and now we reached 1 million. So it took me 2.5 years to reach 500,000. It took me 4 months to get to 1 million. Okay, so just goes to show the compounding effect. Yeah. And the biggest thing that I think changed for me mostly is the fact that I know my audience now extremely well, to the point where I know their age, I know their interests, I know their gender, I know their countries, I know how to speak to them. Because my audience is anything between 16 to 18 to 20 years old, they care far more about escaping the 9 to 5 and escaping the matrix, as opposed to what's the best credit card to get in 2023. Does that make sense? Like, you think about in general, finance is such a big topic, but anybody that you may speak into, like beauty or games or whatever, it's such a big topic. If you can narrow down the exact person that you are speaking to each and every single video that you make, you will build that connection much further with them, and that will feed the algorithm, and you will start to see your videos blowing up over time and time again.
Love it, man. And thousands of reps.
Yeah, thousands. Do like Alex Hormozy says, extraordinary things come from doing the boring things for an extraordinary amount of time. So you just continuously do it, improve it continuously. I said it for myself, and I said it to you as well. I'll be on social media for the next 7 years. When I have such a long-term goal, I really don't care how my video is going to do next week. I just want to make it a little bit better than it was the week before, and that's it. Because a year from now is going to be miles ahead to where I am right now. And that's what it is.
Love that, man. Like, just listen to that again. The importance of having a long-term time horizon on what your efforts are going to be on social media. It's the same for me. I'm going to be here for at least 10 years and really just feel like I'm starting out on this journey, but you have to consider that investment. And you've also got to not expect results for the first few years, right? Like you said.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was lucky enough to go into a small niche that has very little amount of competition initially. So I started making money happily. So at 250 subscribers. But a lot of people, and this again, this kind of goes more into the content strategy side of things, which I don't want to speak about too much on this call. However, you really have to be a normal fish in a small pond and then expand, as opposed to you're a fitness influencer amongst millions of fitness influencers out there. I've used this example and it makes total sense. If you want to get into fitness, let's just take fitness for an example. You have 3 buckets that you can potentially sell it. Do you want to sell a fat loss program, which is $19.99? Okay, loads of people, but you're going to reach nobody because the competition for it is extremely high. Do you want to sell fat loss for women? You're cutting out half of your competition. However, you're cutting out half of the audience, but now you have a little bit less competition because you have a bit more of a tailored type of solution for just women, because the way women lose fat is slightly different to the way men lose fat. Or do you want to go super niche, which is what I did, and go into belly fat loss for pregnant women that just came from having pregnancies? Now you have a very small audience, but the content that you make towards those people will resonate with them extremely well, and therefore you can convert those much, much better, because you're speaking exactly to that person who just had a baby and is worried about 5 to 10 kilos that they now gained that they didn't have before. General finance content creators general fitness content creators will not make that type of content, but you can. And that way you can start making money from it as well, because instead of charging $19.99 for a fat loss program that everybody does, you can charge $100 for the fat loss program from pregnant women that want to lose 5 to 10 pounds. Does that make sense? Like,
Absolutely,
the more you niche down in the very beginning, the quicker you will be able to make money from it, which is what Sean Cannell says on YouTube. The riches are in the niches, and that couldn't be more true.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Right. We're going to lock it up there, dude. And thank you very much for spending some time with us, and excited to take things on to phase 2 for us, which is super.
You said you'll stay here for 10 years. I'm staying here for another 7. We're going to grow old together. So
we're going to grow old together. Yeah. Okay. Make sure to go and follow Ben, because genuinely think he's one of the best examples of content creator across multi-platforms right now. I also think he's about to blow up. So you should go check him whilst he's still not going to get recognized every single moment on the streets, because you will not be able to get a signature from him or a selfie, because that's how it is. Right, dude. Big head. Yeah. Okay. Catch you later, man.
No worries. Thanks a lot.
Hope you enjoyed that interview with Ben. If you are someone who's trying to build their personal brand on social media, anywhere, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and you are struggling for clarity on what content to make, how to monetize, how to turn your audience into customers, then come and have a call with us and jump on a call. We'd love to speak to you, because we're doing this with lots of very happy people and making their lives creating content way easier. So look forward to chatting to you then.